What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Week 8 of the NFL season. That also means Week 8 of Corner Pub Pregame Show coming at you here live on a Sunday morning, 11 o'clock, like we do every week during the NFL season. It's been a lot of fun. It's brought to you by Heat Ratio Sports and Corner Pub Sports. And, of course, it's powered to you by WinDailySports.com. Check it out. Use your promo code HEAT to give you the best Sunday discount possible on your betting for the NFL games on a Sunday here. WinDailySports.com, promo code HEAT to give you that Sunday-only discount. So welcome to the show, everybody. What's up, Mark? What's going on, man? How are you? Hope you're doing good. Thanks for joining us. So I don't have graphics set up for today, so I'm just going to kind of go through the games. Usually, if this is your first week, I usually have the graphics kind of lining up on the bottom there. We kind of ran short of time today. So without further ado, let's start off with this team right here. All right, Eagles taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, a place where the Eagles have never beaten the Bengals, or the place where the Eagles have never beaten the Bengals in Cincinnati, never won there. It's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. As of before the show here, it looks like T. Higgins is not going to be playing. It sounds like he's not going to play today, which is a big help to the Eagles secondary. It's a little less on their mind now. It's basically covered Jamar Chase. Will they do it? I tend to think that so the line is 2. Eagles are favored by 2. The over-under is 48. I tend to think that the Eagles will win this game now, especially with T. Higgins probably out, most likely, it sounds like. I think that the Eagles do get that monkey off their back. And I don't think Cincinnati is that great of a team right now. It's been kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of season for them right now. They're very hot and cold. Their offense still isn't generating as much as Bengals are going to learn something today. We got Jay Parr saying, been up since 7, hungry, get them Selby Sizzlers on the grill. So the Selby Sizzlers are coming up. I have some good ones. And I will preface this by saying for the week this week, Vegas was awfully generous with the lines this week. I feel like there's a lot of there's probably the biggest disparity between two teams with a lot of these games and the lines. You'll see what I'm talking about in a few minutes here. But anyway, back to the Eagles. So I think the Eagles do win this game. I think they control the game. I think they found a formula that's going to work. It's run the ball first and then pass. And obviously with the Eagles' weapons, they can pass. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. There's no worries with those guys at all. So I'm going Eagles there. Fantasy advice on this game. I know people have been shading Jalen Hurts a little bit. I actually think this is a good Hurts game. I think that, Cincinnati's going to try to stop the run, even though they really can't. They're not that good of a defense. They're going to try, though, and I think it's going to open up things there on the outside. I think this feels like a Devontae Smith game to me. The Eagles tend to do that. Like if A.J. Brown has a big week one week, the next week is Devontae Smith. So I think I just have that feeling. And like I said, T. Higgins hurt his quad on Friday at practice, so it sounds like he's going to be out. He's a game-time decision, not trending like he's going to play. Second game on the docket today, we got the Baltimore Ravens, 8.5-point favorites, taking on the Cleveland Browns. Over-under is 45. 8.5 sounds about right. I think Baltimore is going to dominate this game. Although, it is that situation there, because Deshaun Watson's gone for the season. And that actually could be a really good thing for Cleveland. I just don't think this is a good first game for Jameis Winston to come back on it. Although the thing is, and the fantasy advice that I'm going to give kind of plays into this. David Njoku absolutely must start, for the Browns. He lit it up last week. He's probably going to be their biggest target option for Jameis Winston. And then Jerry Jeudy's a sneaky play. I'm not a fan of Jerry Jeudy. He kind of disappointed me this year. But now with Amari Cooper traded to the Bills, it kind of opens up things for Jeudy as well. You can pass on the Baltimore Ravens. So that's the thing. Cleveland might be able to move the ball there. And Mike said it's a divisional game, and he's right. So that 8.5 might be tricky. It's so hard to call because you don't know what Cleveland's offense is going to look like. Will it be better than it has been? You would think so. It can't be any worse. They were pretty bad. This is just not a good spot, although it's in Cleveland. So Yeah, I mean, I would. I'm not touching that one. But I do like Baltimore. I would think Baltimore would cover there. Next game we have is Tennessee and Detroit. So here's one of the bigger lines too. 11.5 points. Detroit is favorite. Over under is 44.5. Um, I I tend to think that Detroit's going to run away with this one, and because of that, I'm sitting Tony Pollard in any league I have him in. Detroit is very good against the run, but even more so, this game could get out of hand fast. Detroit can run away with this with no problem. It's kind of a scary situation there for Tennessee. They're sitting, they're going to stick with Will Levis and all this stuff, and they're sticking to their guns, and they've looked absolutely horrendous this year so far. And Detroit's starting to find their way. So this is kind of a scary game there. With that being said, Tennessee will probably win. It's just the way the NFL is anymore. But no, truthfully, I think Detroit covers, and I think they probably win this one by 2 touchdowns. It should be pretty ugly. Next game is Arizona and Miami. And by the way, for those who are chatting, if I can only see certain this is streamed across like 7 different things. I can only see some of them. So if you're chatting and you don't see your thing come up, because I usually put comments up there. I apologize. It just means it's not coming across. All right. But if I see them here and you guys want to be a part of the conversation, you would agree or disagree, please let me know. All right. So next game here, we got Arizona and Miami. Very intriguing game. Obviously, the big reason, Miami's 4.5 point favorites. And the reason why they're 4.5 point favorites is because Tua Tagovailoa is coming back. He's been missing the last few games with a concussion. His upteenth concussion. It's a scary situation, because people are fearing that the next hit he will take might be his last, based on his history. But for the time being, if he's healthy, guess what? Miami's offense is one of the more premier offenses in the league with him in the lineup. So it's crazy how much they fell off without him there. But guys like Skylar Thompson in there and stuff, it completely demeaned the value of any fantasy player except for probably a chain. In Miami. So, but as far as the game goes, I like Miami here. Mike's asking, do I play Tua? It depends who my other options are. This is a good game for Tua. If you want to, if say you have Tua and I don't know, Derek Carr, I don't know, someone like Mayfield, I would start Tua over Mayfield this week. More on that later. I would probably start Tua over someone like, I might consider starting him over someone like Prescott right now this week. So it's a short list, but yeah, I would. Ryan said he's going to die on the field. Imagine being his parents, dude. It's not going to be a good situation there. Would I start him over Purdy? Not this week, because I think Dallas's defense can be. Well, yeah, you know what? I would. Second thought, I would, because of San Francisco's receiver situation. Yes, I would. Does that help Mostert? Yes, it does. It absolutely helps Mostert. I considered playing Mostert this week. I'm sitting him for other options for Waddle, actually. But yeah, it definitely helps Mostert. It's if he dies, he dies. Well, that might happen. So in this game, fantasy wise, James Conner is a guy that I like this week. He Miami's defense is suspect, to say the least. So, and to say it without stuttering. So yeah, I do like James Conner, and then it's time to trust Waddle and Hill again with Tua back in the lineup. So that kind of goes without saying. If you have those guys, I know you've been kind of scared to start them, put them in your lineup today. This is a good matchup against Arizona. Next game we have is the Jets 7-point favorites over New England. New England had a 46 point over under in this game. I like the Jets, believe it or not. I like the Jets, and only because they really played well against them previously. Even though this game's in New England, New England's kind of in shambles right now. They got called out by Bill Belichick, their former coach. They got called out by their current coach, Mayo. Called them out and said that they're the softest team in the league. Pretty wild. It's not often you see something like that. So it's kind of scary there. And the Jets are, not playing great right now, but they have a chance here. It's the second game for Devontae Adams with the Jets. I think they can start to turn it on a little bit, hopefully. Breece Hall, the guy's a machine. He's going to have a day against the Patriots. But because of this, I would start Aaron Rodgers this week. The last time he played the New England Patriots, he had 25 fantasy points, the most he had this season. So I'm starting him. I'm starting him over Anthony Richardson in my league, which tells you not so great options. But I'm starting Aaron Rodgers this week. I like it. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for, Selby Sizzlers. All right, so Selby Sizzlers this week. I had a tough time picking these because of the point spreads being the way they are, but I'm fairly confident in these, and one might surprise you. So the first one here is Atlanta 2.5-point favorites over Tampa Bay. Over under is 46. I like Atlanta here, even though it's in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's situation has completely changed after last week's game against Baltimore. Mike Evans is gone for a few weeks until at least week 11, it sounds like. And yeah, you're right. Patriots are teetering on imploding, you should say, yeah, or exploding, yeah. Yeah, they're on the fringe there for sure. And the San Francisco 49ers are now going to the Tulsa Medical Center, says Jay. Could it be motivation for New England? It could be. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think you're getting that out of Mayo. I don't know if he's fit to be. I shouldn't say this. I just don't know if he's an NFL coach, NFL head coach, I should say. I think maybe he's more of a defensive mind. That offense already struggled, and now you have a defensive coach taking over that team. It's not. I don't think that's a great mix there. But anyway, back to this game. Atlanta. I like Atlanta to cover and to win this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans is gone for a few weeks, hamstring injury. Chris Godwin busted his leg up. He's out for the year. It's going to be a skeleton crew for Tampa Bay right now. Atlanta's starting to play really well. They're starting to find themselves a little bit. So I like Atlanta. That's one of the Selby Sizzlers this week. So funny you say Mooney. Ryan, Mooney is one of my plays today. I am definitely starting Mooney. He lit up Tampa Bay last time they played each other. He had 9 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown the last time they played. I'm absolutely playing Darnell Mooney in one of my leagues. Darnell Mooney, I should say. So yeah, that's definitely a play. And I'm sitting Baker Mayfield. I can't play him right now. I have a league with Jordan Love and Mayfield. I'm starting Love anyway, but yeah, I can't go with Mayfield right now unless he continues to light it up with a bunch of backup receivers. But we saw this situation happen with him in Cleveland. It's going to be similar to that. I think it's going to be him just kind of running around trying to make something happen. And I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done. Chicago is 1.5-point favorite. This is also a Selby Sizzler. Chicago 1.5-point favorites over Washington. The over-under is 45. It's in Washington. That is a Chicago line if I've ever seen one. Washington being at home. No Jaden Daniels for Washington. Jaden Daniels, who had been carrying that team on his back this season. Great rookie campaign so far. Chicago Bears are playing pretty decent football. They're 4-2. Their defense is really good. I like Chicago. I'm going Chicago in this game. And fantasy implications, DeAndre Swift. Washington has allowed 5 running backs to score at least 16 points this season in fantasy. DeAndre Swift an absolute start this week. The Bears, says Mark. And I'm watching the rookie Nduze because he's due to break out. And this could be the game he does it. Keenan Allen's back in the lineup for a couple weeks now. He's been playing pretty decent. DJ Moore, they're coming off of a bye. The rookie wants to get involved. I would watch him. He could be a very, very sneaky play, especially for the daily fantasy players. So that's definitely a deep sleeper there. But I like him today. I think you're going to see something here. Oh, Daniels looks like he's going to play. Really? Yeah, I'm still going to go Chicago. Washington is due anyway. And I was kind of siding that way either way. So I'm still going to stick with Chicago. I'm surprised that Daniels is going to play. I thought they were definitely saying he was going to be out this week. Mike said, hope you're right. I switched this in the other pick with the injuries. Atlanta you're talking about? Or are you talking about Chicago? And the last Selby Sizzler is Sunday Night Football's game tonight. This is the game, by the way, that the Eagles were flexed out of. technically, yeah. They had a 4:00 game or switched to 1:00. They switched this game. Dallas and San Francisco is your Sunday night football game. I'm going Dallas. San Francisco's 4.5-point favorites at home. Even if Dallas doesn't win, they should cover. The over-under is 47. That actually seems high to me. Dallas coming off of a bye, I think San Francisco is basically an emergency ward right now. So Deebo Samuel has pneumonia. Brandon Ayuk's season is done. He tore his knee up, his MCL and ACL, so he's out. George Kittle's banged up. You got one more game at Jordan Mason. Christian McCaffrey might be coming back in 2 weeks after San Francisco's bye. I like the under in this one as well, Mike. I know I brought it up last week and I lost on it, but unders are now 32-11 on Sunday Night Football since 2002. So, but I do like the under there, and I like Dallas to cover this game. So I'm definitely going there. All right, so those are your Selby Sizzlers. Just to recap: Atlanta, Chicago, and Dallas. 2 of the 3 are favorites in their respective games, and I just think Dallas will stick with San Francisco. Green Bay, 3.5-point favorites on the road, taking on Jacksonville. The over-under is 49.5 there. Higgins is out. Okay, I figured as much. From the news last night, they did not get good news on it. I mean, his quad got strained pretty good, so that's huge for the Eagles. I feel even stronger about that now. That pick. So Green Bay taking on Jacksonville. That line, 3.5, seems low to me. I know Jacksonville had played well last week. Jacksonville's also coming back from England after a 2-week stay over there. Green Bay's offense has been churning pretty well here. Josh Jacobs got going last week. I haven't seen him much this year. So with that, I'm going Green Bay. I like Romeo Doubs this week. He's been very productive over the last 2 weeks. It sounds like Love has since Love came back, he started targeting him a little bit more. Christian Watson is another one as well. If you have Christian Watson, you might want to consider starting him. Jacksonville allows 376 total yards per game, which is the 5th worst in the NFL. Going against a really good offense, that's not a good mix there. I'm going Green Bay. I considered putting that in a Selby Sizzler too, but I had Green Bay in there last 2 weeks. So, all right, next game is Indianapolis taking on Houston. Houston is 5-point home favorites, 45.5 over under. This is an interesting one because everyone, including moi, is waiting for Anthony Richardson to finally wake up. He's not going to do it today. Houston's defense is pretty good. Houston's offense is starting to get going a little bit, although last week they did struggle. And I'm not scared of starting Stroud. Okay, if you have C.J. Stroud, do not be scared of starting him. The Colts defense is not very good. They have a chance here, or he has a chance here to rebound in a big way. There was a lot of disappointment in that, and teams go through that, right? They have those bad weeks. That was a bad week for the Houston Texans last week. So I think they recover. I think C.J. Stroud has a big week, and I'm sitting Anthony Richardson this week if you have him. You just can't trust him right now until he gets going. Can't trust him. It's crazy. And granted, it was his first game back since being hurt, but still, you're not throwing a touchdown, not running for a touchdown, then you're basically worthless in fantasy. And honestly, the Colts offense looked a lot different last week than they had in the previous weeks with Flacco under center. So I don't know if the Colts continue to struggle here. You might be seeing a quarterback change there. It's crazy to say, but it might happen. Next game we have is the Saints and the Chargers. Chargers are 7-point home favorites. Seems like a lot of points. 7 points is a lot. I don't like Justin Herbert this week. There's something weird about this game. I'm actually going to side with the team that lost 5 in a row to cover the 7-point spread. I know that's not breaking news. It's not crazy, but that just seems like a very, very high line to me. And so with that, I'm going to go with the Saints to cover that one. If you have Olave, I would probably sit him right now. He just isn't consistent enough for my liking. I can't put him in my lineup. If you have better options, put someone else in there. Chris Olave is just not getting it done right now. And plus the fact that the Chargers have their third best team against wide receivers this year which is kind of surprising, but they've been pretty stout against opposing wide receivers. So that's just more of a reason why I'm not going to start Chris Olave this week. We have a couple more games left here. Buffalo, 3-point favorites on the road in Seattle. 45.5 is the over-under. This is a strange one. I don't know why. I feel like Seattle's going to win this game. Buffalo going across country. I just don't like it. Mike said I don't have better options than Olave, even though he sucks. Wasted my 3rd-round pick on that bum. A lot of people took him early, and he's just not getting it done. It's head scratching. He's had a couple good games. He had one touchdown against the Eagles, right? And that was pretty much his last really productive game. I think he had one other game he did okay. Very inconsistent. But yeah, I feel like Seattle's going to win this game against Buffalo. It's just a gut feeling. That's a strange matchup there. However, I'm going to start Amari Cooper if I have him. Amari Cooper in his debut with the Bills last week was excellent. He played fantastic. So I expect more of the same there. Seattle's defense is another one that's kind of shaky, suspect, especially against the pass. But I'm going to start Cooper. I think Seattle, even though Metcalf is kind of up in the air, even if he plays, he's not going to be 100%. There's a lot going on there, but I think Seattle has enough. I like Kenneth Walker a lot today too. I think he might get some pretty good runs against Buffalo's defense today. It's just a gut feeling on that one. We got Carolina and Denver, and this is another big point spread. 11-point favorites are the Broncos. 41 over under. They're highly suspect. Highly suspect. Yes, they are. Bo Nix is taking on Carolina's defense. Bo Nix he's been a pretty solid rookie quarterback this year. Obviously, he's getting overshadowed by other rookies, but he's doing a nice job out there in Denver for them. I think they have something there that they can build on. So Carolina's defense is 4th most in the league in quarterback points allowed. So if you have Bo Nix in your lineup, definitely go there. I'm trusting Javonte Williams today as well. 11 running backs have scored at least 12 points against the Carolina Panthers defense this year. So Javonte Williams is a good play. As far as the game itself, it's a lot of points. I don't think I can trust Denver's offense that much to cover a double-digit point differential. So I reluctantly might consider going Carolina to cover. But then again, on the other hand, Bryce Young's back in a quarterback, and I hate Bryce Young. Man, I don't know. This is really tough. I don't know if I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole, but if you really asked me to, I think I would just go with Carolina just to cover. But that's ugly there. Denver a double-digit favor. Who would have thought? Yeah, it's just ugly. I don't like it. I don't like it a little bit. We got Kansas City 9-point favorites on the road going to Vegas. 41.5 is the point spread there. There was a lot of stuff going on with Vegas too. Apparently, one of the reasons why Devontae Adams wanted out, he felt like when they signed Gardner Minshew, he apparently lost his mind. He was like, "This is what we're doing. This is how we're going to go about it this year." So there's obviously some discord there. He's saying Raiders outright. Yeah, I don't think so. Although, Kansas City's offense has been not great this year at all. Patrick Mahomes is struggling, but they get it done somehow. That defense is good enough to carry them. And Kareem Hunt is going against a defense that allows 136 yards on the ground. I'm starting Kareem Hunt if I have him. I don't. But if I did, I would be starting him. The 9 points is a lot. Again, they keep giving the Chiefs these big point differentials. I don't understand it because the Chiefs aren't winning these games by double digits or close to double digits. I'm going to go to Raiders to cover. But yeah, that's just crazy to me. I don't understand that. And Monday Night Football, this is a barn burner. Let me tell you. The Giants take on Pittsburgh. Nothing against Pittsburgh, but Giants on Monday Night Football, who cares? Pittsburgh 6-point favorites. That sounds about right. I'm going to go Pittsburgh here. Russell Wilson surprised me. Surprised probably everybody, except for Mike Tomlin, because he said that's why I get paid the big bucks to make decisions like this. I don't know how Justin Fields feels about that, but it is what it is. But yeah, he surprised everybody. He moved the ball really well last week against the Giants. Last week, and was unexpected on Sunday Night Football last week. So I like Pittsburgh this week, 36.5 over under. That's a low over under. I guess they're expecting the Giants not to really score. Honestly, that's what that comes down to. I know one of the sneaky plays people have been putting out there is Tyrone Tracy, the running back for the Giants. You're not starting this week against Pittsburgh's defense. It's too much of a hassle there. It's too much of an uphill battle there for him against that defense. I actually think this might be a dominating performance by Pittsburgh, honestly. And also with that, I'm starting George Pickens as well. Pickens really came to life last week with Wilson under the helm. So I'm going Pickens again. I mean, look, the guy's a number one receiver. I know he hasn't put up the numbers of a number one recently, but there might be some chemistry there that's really, really doing well. And Tracy a backup as well. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, people are starting him, and I don't quite get it. You're seeing, like, his touches went down last week, obviously against the Eagles. The Eagles played really well last week, and they were up in that game. But I don't get that play. I don't know why people are even starting him, honestly. And hoping Wilson rejuvenates Pickens. It sounds like that's what's happening there. They seem to have a good repertoire. So yeah, that's your week eight matchups picks. Again, just to recap, the Selby Scissors are Atlanta, Chicago, and Dallas. All right. So thank you everyone for joining tonight. And sorry about the banners. We'll work on that for next week. We'll get that back up and running again. So as always, it was brought to you by WinDailySports.com. Use promo code HEAT to get your Sunday discount on your bets. All right. And check out the book. All right. No one likes this, but we do care. All right. It's out on Amazon. Go get it. It's at the Newtown bookstore. It's at Dynasty Sports at Oxford Valley Mall. A couple other stores might be carrying it in the next few weeks. And also, I have an appearance on November 9th, Saturday. Is it the 9th? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm forgetting the date. In November, the first Saturday, second Saturday, November 9th. I was right. From 10:30 to 1, Doylestown Public Library. There's a giant book fair, author book fair going on. So I will be there selling copies of the book and signing it if you so wish. And so hopefully I'll see you there. And if not, I'll see you guys next week. Of course, Corner Pub Sports comes at you on Friday night at 8:15. Tonight at 8 o'clock, you have the Your Team Sucks podcast with my buddy Mike there, who was on the text thread here, and our buddy Rob Spire. Cowboys and Eagles fans going at it. It's good stuff. All right, we will see you guys next week. Later.